On December 26, 2004, an earthquake struck in the Indian Ocean about 60 miles off the coast of northern Sumatra. Measuring 9.2 on the Richter scale, it was the third largest earthquake recorded in modern times. The earthquake generated a tsunami which swept onto beaches throughout the Indian Ocean. The worst hit area was nearby Aceh province at the northern tip of Sumatra. At that time I was living with friends in Jakarta, Indonesia, some 1,100 miles southeast of Aceh. 8 days later, 4 of us arrived in Banda Aceh, the capital of the province, in order to do what we could to help the survivors of the disaster. I brought my video camera and later made a compilation of clips of what we were involved with at that time.
Hi, this is Mark. I'm in Jakarta, Indonesia, and this is February of 2005. I've been preparing some video clips that I was able to make in Banda Aceh last month during the disaster there. Banda Aceh is the center of where the tsunami disaster happened here in Indonesia. I'm going to add some commentary on these clips, but not really so much, because in some ways it's kind of like words fail you. We get used to using words like awesome and heartbreaking, and then you get in a situation like that and you don't know what words to use because you've already used those words when the whole thing is just so vast. So I wanted to start this with what was to me one of the most, again, you just don't know the words to use. The first clip was from Monday, January 3rd in the morning. We arrived there early that morning, and some friends were taking us around Banda Aceh and just showing us the circumstances. It was 8 days after the disaster. We were driving down a major residential street, and I looked off to the side and down a smaller street, and I saw about a 55-foot cabin cruiser wedged up against a mosque. And at that time we were around a mile from the ocean. So we got out and walked down the street down there, and I began to shoot some clips. But the thing that I'm not sure you're going to be able to catch on the video, I hope you will, you're in a residential neighborhood, it's a nice part of town, there's just nothing there. The only thing that you hear is these birds chirping. And everywhere you look, there's no people. There's only sort of an eerie quietness, and here's this gigantic boat right next to a mosque. And this nice part of town literally became, in every sense of the word, a ghost town. And so the whole area that used to be so inhabited is nothing but destruction and death and silence and bird singing. Most of the video is not dwelling on this because we went there to bring hope and love and hope to people, and by the grace of God we did that. But I thought you might at least be interested in seeing a little bit about what the circumstances and the situation was like when we got there. So we'll start now.
Mengalir di atas saya pakai cengkok di baju-baju. Selamatkan. Jangan lagi bersirak.
So Francis, you were saying it's about a kilometer to the ocean?
Yes.
Okay, so we're looking down a street here, completely filled with we don't even know what. I'm standing probably at least 10 feet off the ground. And as we pan around, we're going to see this ship that's probably about a 50 or 60 foot ship here. Can you see very much up there? It's just all empty, or what is it? So this ship has been washed right down this street and wedged right next to a mosque. And this ship has basically blocked all this other material behind it.
Yeah. Itulah. Kami tadi waktu diambil sama marin kami nggak tahu juga kami dalam. Udah semprot di dinding kan.
The governor's house right there? Yeah, governor's house. Governor's office. So it just swept through that ground floor and just eliminated, didn't it? There's nothing left there. It's like a building that didn't get finished being built.
Look
at this bus on the right over here, all these buses.
Where's that? Oh, coming up?
There's a purple bus over there on the right.
Yeah. Yeah, that bus just, I guess it got washed all the way over there.
That's a graveyard. That car.
Ini mobil paling banyak di sini, tapi sudah diangkat semua karena ini asrama haji.
Yeah.
Masih ada orang mau mengantar orang naik haji.
There used to be a lot more cars here, but they pulled some of them.
Air ketinggian berapa Pak waktu di sini?
Di sini nggak. Cuman saya bilang itu ada batasannya. Di mana batas airnya?
Rumah itu.
And the deal is, I guess you just don't really know what's beneath all this, and maybe never will. It's not like it's all been picked through or anything.
Ini perkampungan rata.
How's that?
That was a village over there. It's all gone.
Village over there is all gone, huh?
Itu perkampungan rata.
That's a village over there.
That was a village over there.
Yes, even in a country there's all.
People live there, huh?
You can see where all the wood came from. That was all houses.
So this was people were living all over in here?
These were houses.
Look at that tree. It's up to that tree there. My goodness. Do you see how high that was? Well, I was going to say that we've been driving for about 5 minutes since I turned this thing off, and the destruction is just still total. You were saying there's 500 families on that side over there that were lost, and about 600 on the other side?
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems like the only thing that made it was the palm trees. And so this was all people were living over here?
Yes.
All this area were houses.
So housing area.
And we've been driving for about 3 or 4 miles, I think.
The road is broken. Road.
Yeah, roads washed out here. They had to fill it in.
They're picking up bodies.
Who was?
The trucks that are going by are picking up dead bodies.
Well, that to me is the amazing thing, that this looks like wilderness, but it wasn't wilderness. It was an inhabited area. And you think you're on countryside, but it wasn't. It wasn't countryside 8 days ago. It was a city. You see the foundations of these houses, and it's just amazing and pitiful. This must be close to 10 miles of just utter destruction. Just nothing. Hi. This is Monday, 8 days after the tidal wave and earthquake here. I'm here in Banda Aceh. Been able to get up here this morning. We saw some things this afternoon that people shouldn't have to see. It's very sad, very amazing. I've never seen anything like that in my life. But the nice thing is that we come to try to do what we can to help the people that have still survived. This is a city of about 350,000, and they say about half the city has just been wiped out. And to say wiped out, I've never seen anything so wiped out. It's just like literally, there's just wiped out. But I'm here at a house of some friends, and we have some different things we're going to be distributing to people. It's like, what can we do among so many, but at least we can help some. Hi. It's Mark. It's Tuesday, January 4th. We're in Banda Aceh. We're actually about 10 kilometers outside the city. And if I look that direction, I can just barely see the sea from here. We're at a refugee camp. We came here about 10-15 minutes ago or so. This camp is not being taken care of by anyone. Nobody's really, the government is a little bit involved, but basically these people are on their own. We found out there's about 2,500 people here. They're not really living in tents because it's basically plastic that they threw up themselves. They've moved up in the hills here because they're afraid of another tidal wave. And so they've started coming down from the hills and living a little bit closer to the sea. There's 285 kids here under 7. There's about 30 pregnant women. 2 kids have been born here already. But there's nothing there. We've been driving past that 2 times. There's not even foundations to houses. It is like open ground, and it's like whole cities that used to be there, or whole little villages. It's just flat ground or lakes. So it's like you've never seen anything like this before. So we don't know exactly what we're going to be able to do here. They lack water, they lack toilet facilities, they lack basically everything but goodwill to each other, because that's one of the things that's really struck me, how much they work together with each other. And you can take a few shots of the camp and just see what it looks like. CNN or something?
Oh, look up.
Cho anak adik đây bữa. Bữa. Hai, mak cho anak adik đây bữa. Bữa.
So this is the refugee camp, and it's actually spread out all over this hillside here. Well, what happened next was that we walked over to the other end of this camp. And what we found a team of Korean doctors that had been setting up there to try to help people with things that had happened to them. But the problem was they didn't have anybody to translate for them, and they'd only flown in to Aceh about 2 or 3 days before us. So most of the people on our team were fluent both in Indonesian and English, so we immediately teamed up with them, and this became the beginning of our main way to minister there for quite a few days. And while we were helping the doctors to minister to these people physically, we got a chance to talk to these people, get to know them personally, and to do what's called trauma counseling, and just to touch their hearts and to try to be a help to them and speak to them in this time.
우리도 난민처럼 막 기뻐하면서
Ê, đúng chưa?
Yeah, got it all. Cows and all. They're throwing out stuff right there.
Yeah, they're throwing out stuff.
Need some organization on that.
Yang telah tapi waduh.
Nose, eyes, hair, finger, and it is hand, yeah. Arm. Okay, this knee. This back. 1, 2, gembira. Surga di sini. Dari bunyi gini. Waktu tuh gembira. Waktu jam sekarang. Waktu tuh apa? Waktu tuh gembira sekarang. Tuh gembira di sini. Tuh gembira. Orang gembira. Lalu kita dapat surga di sini. Walau ada di panyo ini kan.
So this is about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the end of the second day that we've been here. We're driving back through Banda Aceh, and after a while I just get tired of filming this stuff, but I don't know if the word is tired or just overwhelmed. But we're driving through an area that it's actually a pretty nice, or it was a pretty nice residential area. This part right here is toward the sea. I think the ocean is probably about a mile that direction right there. The reason I'm stopping to film is because it's just basically utter destruction everywhere, and we've already been driving about 5 or 10 minutes down this street in a pretty good part of town, because you can tell from the houses that were left that they were nice houses, 2-story houses, well built, and it's just hard to describe, and so I'll just film it. And that's the street we've been driving on, and we've come, like I said, 5 or 10 minutes down that street, maybe 10 minutes. This whole area here, there's a door that's just hanging in the air over there. You see that house? That was a pretty nice house right there, and it's just destroyed. And as far as you can see in every direction, just absolute destruction. And they're still pulling out bodies and just pulling out debris, and there's not very many people around here because they're not here anymore. This is Tuesday, January 11th, 2005. We are taking the road south out of town. The other film you've seen before has all been heading north, but we've been checking out a number of different refugee camps on the south side of town. And what I'm finding is that the south side of town has not really been taken care of so very well and not had so much work done on it. And this is 15 days after the disaster, and they've had some work done. They've had some road cleaning. But as you see right there, you can still seeing body bags, which you're not seeing so much of on the north side of town. So we have some doctors that we're working together with, and we're going to be going out to some of these camps to see if they would like to have us come out and work with them and help with the medical situation in the camps. We are about 10 miles south of Banda Aceh now, and we've been driving here this afternoon looking for refugee camps that need help. And I haven't been south here like this, but I'm again I've been here a week now, and I'm still just astounded by the devastation, because the pictures I sent you the first time, they were from north of the city, from the northern part of the city up the north coast. We are now down the south coast. We're approximately 20 miles from those pictures I've been sending you of the first refugee camp. And this is just as bad, if not worse. It's had first, right there, that's looking, I can see off about a mile to a mile and a half that way, and the sea is right behind these trees here. Right behind these trees and this mosque, about a mile and a half away, is the ocean. So the wave all along this coast swept through here, destroyed everything, eroded that road right there, swept over this. I'm standing on a pile of rubble, and it just kept going. And it went, you can see, another mile. And we're way up the hill here. I don't know how far I am above the sea level, but my guess is 20 feet probably above the sea level right now. And this wave went all the way to those groves and mountains over there. So every direction you look, literally for miles, is just destruction. Just destruction. And mile after mile after mile after mile of it. So it's gone well. We've been doing some surveys, trying to find some camps that really need help, small or big, continuing to work with the Korean doctors. And we found one that's evidently been run by the Indonesian government and one of the political parties that's in pretty good shape, but they really need medical help, and so they seem to be agreeable to us coming to help. And now I've done a full 360-degree panorama, and I'm back here to this place again. Here's our little car over here that we're traveling around in, and it just, after a while, at first it doesn't get to you so much, but then after a while it's just kind of like, you just don't know how anything is ever going to get fixed here, because people are trying, but the scale is just unimaginable. So I'll cut it off, and we're going to go back to work on some more of these camps. Bye-bye. This is the main road south, the main road out of Banda Aceh toward Malabo. And we can't go any further because the bridge has been washed out, and there's the bridge over there. The good thing is we found a camp today that we can be going to and helping, and we've talked to people and brought them some goods. We've done that basically all day long, gone to different camps. I think we've gone to maybe 10 camps today.
mainly doing reconnaissance and survey work. But we're not going to be able to go any further unless we get a helicopter, which is possible. January 14th, we're at a new camp, just helping the Koreans get set up here this morning. New situation, new people, and new team is just coming from Jakarta. So this is a little bit of a pan of this camp. It's a little bit more organized than some of the other places. These are people who come from down the coast and outside of Banda Aceh. They had one of the district heads told us they had 28 villages. Out of those 28 villages, only 4 were left. So that's a little pan of the camp, and then we'll see how the tables are set up here. So Shelly is translating for the Koreans. This is the registration table, talking with that little girl there and her parents. And people are beginning to come more and more. So you go from the registration table over to these tables over here, where Andy is translating and helping these people. And there's another table right here waiting for people. So we're just getting started. This is the first time in this camp. There's about 2,000 people in this camp based here, but then a lot of people who live around in the neighborhood will also come once they know we're set up. The other part of the camp, at the other end over there, is where the medical team is. You may hear some laughing in the background because we've got our little children's team of Jordan and our friend from Jakarta named Eerie, who works at one of the places that I do programs at on the weekends. His name is Eerie. He's from Medan, which is the neighboring, it's the next province or the next major city to the south of Banda Aceh. And he is really good with kids. So we got all these little kids here having games and just laughing and having fun, and they really need that. So again, this is just the first hour or so we've been at this camp, and we're real glad that it's going as well as it's going, because you never can tell how it's all going to work out. But so far it's gone real well. So we got a translating team over on that side, and we got our little child care group working with kids over here. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning, so we're up and running here, and we're real glad for it.
Ini ibaratnya sebuah perahu, ya. Di keliling ini banyak ikan hiu. Jadi harus di atas ini semua, artinya nggak boleh keluar, ya. Kalau keluar nanti digigit sama ikan hiu, wah bahaya, ya. Oke. Contohnya gini, mari ini orang. Nanti semua nggak boleh turun. Nggak boleh di atas, nggak boleh lewat orang. Nggak boleh di atas orang, nggak boleh lewat orang, nggak boleh lewat orang. Nggak boleh. Nanti ada ikan hiu di laut banyak ikan.
So there's Jordan and Eerie over there with our little kids group. They're continuing to have fun with the little kids. This camp actually is set up on the grounds of a government administration building. So they're all just sort of squatters here in a sense. And in some ways it's very nice grounds. There's a mosque on the ground, there's good water. The sanitation facilities are not too bad. But this building is quite a nice building. Actually, this city is not really a poor city. There's the mosques again. And I just wanted to kind of pan across and show you some of the geography, because it's like a very flat area right by the coast, But not very far off are all these mountains like these here, or at least very steep hills. And this is the places where our Achenese friends do not want to go because they're afraid of the GAM and the resistance movement, who they say are right up in those hills there. So any camps that are off the road, if it's between the road and the coast, they'll go to the camps. If it's between the road and the hills, even if it's just a few hundred yards away, they don't want to go up there. But anyway, right there in those hills is where GAM resides, so I've been told.
She's selfish. Yeah, not really. About moms. Like her. She's a good singer. Hey, nyanyi sama-sama ya. Nyanyi untuk tante. Mau? Sama nggak? Terlalu banyak orang ya. Shy, so many people. In front of the other children, no problem.
Cuma tangan doang. Sampai komen ada tanda dalam aja. Oh, sometimes not itching here, but itching here. Sometimes the itching is itching here. Sampai here, sampai here.
He's 14. He has toothache. About a month. About one month. Jakarta.
Baru di Aceh.
Yeah.
Udah hancur baru pergi ke Aceh.
So this is Friday afternoon, January 14th. This is my 12th day in Banda Aceh. If all goes according to plan, I'll be leaving tomorrow to go back to Jakarta. We're sitting at a little restaurant, having a little lunch, eating rambutans, drinking bottled water. And we've just been at this camp this morning. That's gone pretty well. A lot of translating, spending time with the kids. I was thinking before I made this what I could say. I don't know what to say really. It's hard to describe your emotions. I'm very glad I've been here. I'm very glad it's gone so well. Been able to help as much as we have been able to help. I hope I can come back. It's a real privilege. It's just a real privilege to be able to be here. You just feel like your emotions can't match the situation. You hear things, you see things all day, every day. It's not a newspaper article, it's not a television show. It's real people who lost everything. Saw a man this morning that was just like in severe shock. This 2.5 weeks later, and just can hardly talk. He can't even remember who his son is. It's a guy about my age, lost everything. I'm glad that we've been able to do what we have been able to do and help. Somebody called me this morning a field coordinator. And I guess, I don't have any big title, but it's a little bit like doing things like that. We have some new people that just came in the last few days, and some more coming in tomorrow. And they're going to be taking up the torch and carrying on here. We're trying to find a new and a better place because we've been having housing problems. And we hope to be able to do something here over the longer term if possible. The government would like to get everybody out if they can within about 2.5 months, but we don't know if they're going to do that or not. So this may be some of the last footage I shoot before I go back to Jakarta. I don't know who's going to be seeing this or where you are. Thank you for your prayers for us. They've really been answered. I haven't been sick here, not really very much. There's a lot of sickness around. The living conditions have been very rough. Sleeping on the floor, going to toilets that you really wouldn't want to go to. Not real sure where you're going to get your next meal, but it always seems to work out. So, thank you for your prayers, for your support. I'm going to try to keep in contact with you. And I hope this has been some kind of a blessing for you. I hope that you somehow feel a little bit linked to this part of the world, and that we, no matter what our cultural background is, or what our nationality, or what our religion is, that we can come together in God's love and love one another. I was thinking about that this morning. The Lord said, what's the great commandment? Is to love God and
love your neighbor. And believe it or not, in this day and age, these people are our neighbors. They may not be living next door to you, but it's a small world nowadays. These are our neighbors. And Jesus said, as much as you've done to the least of these, my brethren, you've done it unto me. So thank you for your help in helping me to do this. And I hope to be able to see you again sometime soon. And God bless you. Bye-bye.